In this lesson, we're going to take a fresh look at scales with the goal of fully appreciating scales as musicians, not just technicians. So, if your experience with scales is something like this, and nothing else, we have work to do, right? If you just mindlessly practice in quotes, because you're not really practicing anything, if you mindlessly practice scales like that, without understanding what you're playing, without listening, really listening to what you're playing, and more importantly, without feeling what you're playing, you're missing out on a hugely important aspect of what makes music tick. Let's take a closer look. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use the C major scale as an example. We could have used any scale in any key, but since most people are familiar with C major, that's what we're going to use. And I'm just going to jump to the punchline here. What we're going to discover as we play around with this scale is this. Each note in the scale has a different melodic and harmonic function. What we're going to discover is that each note has various degrees of stability or instability or harmonic tension or lack of harmonic tension. And this is the formula that really makes music tick. Let's take a look. So here's our C major scale. Now you might notice we've got some fun little critters on some of the notes here. This will all make sense in a minute. But before we do this, I just want to describe what we're going to do. We're going to use solfege, in other words, functional sound names, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, to name the notes. And we're going to sing this out loud, which I cannot overstate the importance of. Singing out loud, rather than just passively listening, is going to engage so much more of your musical mind, and it's going to accelerate the ear training process, right? So, solfege, singing out loud. Let's mess around with the C major scale and see what we discover. All right. So let's see, what we're going to do, and we're in the key of C. Let's sing solfege out loud. Si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now you better be singing out loud or you're not going to develop ears as quickly as you would otherwise, right? Now, as we do this, what we're going to do is let's just play another note, C, an octave lower here. And we're going to use this as our sonic point of reference, right? Here's do, which is kind of the sonic home base. It's the note that we're going to refer all the other sounds to. So let's mess around. Do sounds like home. Do sounds stable, resolved, without harmonic tension, right? Let's continue. Do, re, unstable, harmonic tension, craves resolution. Let's go somewhere. Let's go to do. Tension, tension, re, do, release. Let's go somewhere else now. Re, tension, mi. All Sounds pretty stable, doesn't it? So, not harmonically tense. So and do go together. Do, so go together pretty well. Doesn't mean we can't resolve from so to do. So, do, so, do. Let's continue. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. You feel, right? Now this is key too as we're doing this, right? It's more than just how does it sound. It's how it feels, right? Sound feels like it needs to go somewhere, right? So we're not just listening, we're feeling what these notes sound like with respect to do. And by the way, these sound feelings are unique. Each one of these notes has a unique sound feeling that you can learn to recognize. That's what ear training is. So let's get back to la. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Let's resolve it to sol, la. Let's resolve up to do. Let's continue. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Wow, this one really has a lot of instability and tension built into it, doesn't it? T, boy, it wants to go somewhere, it wants to go to do, tension, release, instability, stability. Right, so you get the idea. So let's revisit why we have these turtles here. Now, as we did this, you might have noticed that the notes that sound the most stable and the least harmonically tense are the turtle notes. What are those? Well, it's no coincidence that we're in the key of C, C major in particular. These notes, the turtle notes, are a C major triad. Wow, huge insight to have, right? So these are the notes of relative stability and harmonic resolution or release of tension. What are the notes that are left over? Well, it's the notes with the pebbles, right? Each one of those pebble notes, for lack of a better word, craves resolution. So in the context of this note wants to go somewhere, right? This note, another pebble note, wants to go somewhere. Or this note, a pebble note, wants to go somewhere. This note too. So, I hope you learned a valuable lesson here, right? A scale is not just a bunch of notes that line up in a row. A scale is a palette of notes that have various degrees of harmonic stability and instability, or harmonic tension and resolution, right? This is the stuff that really, really makes music tick. So in closing, what I would like to do is make a proposal, and that is this. Instead of viewing scales as a string of notes that line up in a row, let's build scales in the sequence of notes from most stable and most harmonically resolved to least stable and least harmonically resolved. or most harmonically tense, right? So let's do that. Let's tear this down and start from scratch. So let's go ahead and do the C major scale. Again, this could be used for any scale, but we're just going to use C major just because everyone's used to it, right? So, Do. What other note sounds most harmonically stable and consonant and untense, harmonically untense with respect to Do? Well, it's all the other Do's, right? So, the first one we put down is Do. What comes next in line? So, what comes next? Now, don't take my word for it, right? Sing these out loud, trust your ears. But to my ears and my feelings, the one that comes next is me. Now, again, these are the turtle notes. It's not a coincidence, right? The turtle notes form a C major triad. This makes perfect musical, physical sense. This is how music works. So let's look at the notes that are left over, right? The so-called pebble notes. Now, there might be some controversy here as to which notes come in which order of, relative harmonic tension and instability. But to my ears, these two come next. We can argue, is it this one or this one and this one or this one? But I think it's La and Re. What comes after these? These are the really interesting notes because these are the ones that create the most harmonic tension. And again, to my ears, don't trust me now, convince yourself of this. Those notes are Fa, and T. Right? So there it is. There's our non-linear view of scales. Keep this in mind in all your music making, right? Whether you're reading music, playing by ear, composing, or improvising. A scale is not just a bunch of notes that line up in a row. A scale is a palette of notes that all contribute harmonic tension and release to various degrees. This is what really makes music tick.